correct, I know on the most current record for the Smashing Pumpkins, vocals, my question is, having worked with the band for a minute now, did that change in how you're songwriting as an indie artist for your songs? Did they become darker at times or not at all? Or you just sort of, you compartmentalize your work with them and then you have your indie sound, your work?
That's a really good question. I mean, I've done obviously touring with the band for 7 or 8 years, and I did background vocals and background vocal arrangements for the last 2 albums. I did it on their 2020 Sia project, which was 20 songs. And then the newest project, Autumn, is 33 songs. It's a lot to sort of, and it's considered to be a rock opera. So it's big vocals, big arrangements, big sort of, and a more orchestral approach to parts of vocals so that they become this other element that sort of plays into the sound or the storyline or the through line of the 3 acts that make up this 33 song, very ambitious project. I think because I grew up listening to so much music. I mean, it was really everything from, you know, Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, you know, to Aretha and Stevie Wonder. And like, I just had such a wonderful musical experience growing up that I wasn't really limited so much from what I got to hear. So it all sort of went in. So when I became a songwriter, all of those things sort of go in there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they have moments where they can come out, and songs of mine that have been a little bit more rock influenced, I can stretch out and be like, well, here's this element here now that I might have learned from Led Zeppelin or, you know, whoever. Mm-hmm. And then here's this element and this more soul element, and I can bring it out in a song of mine, like Short Story Long. I can be like, I'm gonna be Aretha for a minute, not completely Aretha, just a little Aretha, not full Aretha. So you get to kind of play with your idols through the things that you write and step into shoes and see what fits. When it's all in there, it's all in there, and it's all accessible at any given time. So diving into their projects, I'm just able to access the greater, you know, encyclopedia of music. So when it's rock opera, and then I think of, you know, Queen and the Suite, and I think of layered vocal elements, whether it's coming from, you know, Fleetwood Mac or Mamas and Papas or whoever, it doesn't matter what's going on, but I'm like, okay, this song's a bit more psychedelic. Well, you know, and then I'll do a deep dive and listen to like a bunch of Bowie, or I'll listen to a bunch of Pink Floyd, or I'll listen to a bunch of whatever it is, the Zombies, whatever it is, and just dive in and go, where's that going? Yeah. And I think once you sort of realize that it's all in there all the time. Mm-hmm. So I just don't have a huge outlet to be able to express those what you would do in a rock aspect for my music. But when there are moments, I will use them. Yeah. But it's not appropriate for me to put, you know, 37 layers of vocals on an acoustic song. Yeah. You know, super fun. And I have a true passion for arranging, because I think it can help support a lead vocal, like a background vocal arrangement can help support what's happening instrumentally. And there's been moments where like this keyboard part's happening, and so I'll sing along with that, and then extend it on with another, like an echoey part that pans this way and pans that way. And like, I invent movement, and I invent sort of these 3-dimensional moments that can happen when the music's still going, but then there's this other thing that's happening, because vocals take your emotional focus. So a lead vocal's happening, you're focusing on it, but then it's like there's a gap for 20 seconds before the next lead vocal comes in. So I'm always like, well, what should go there? So it's like handshaking the emotional content to the next lead vocal. So I always think in those sorts of terms. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I always learn from every experience, so I can't say I've definitely been affected by my work with the Pumpkins. I think I'm more affected by the fact that I get to sort of be on stage and watch what they do, and watch how they are in business, and watch how they are with the media. And I think all of those things help me more as a human being than the creative aspect. I've seen Billy and worked with Billy in the studio, you know, a bit, and obviously working on these songs, I get to see how, like, they're very unrelenting with their focus.
Mm.
Like if Billy's in there with Jimmy or whoever, and they're just building a track. I've seen Billy like play through, here's this riff I've got, but then he'll switch it and be like, well, here's what it is in this key, and now here's it on piano, and this is what it sounds like this, and this is what it sounds like that. And let's slow it down like 10 BPM. What's it sound like? He'll try so many different iterations of things to go,
Yeah.
this is the best version of, like, this is the song, but this is the best version of the song. This is the best key for the song. And this is the best stylistic choice for the song, to go, I can apply that to my music. It's not necessarily a songwriting element. It's not necessarily I don't know, even a musicality. It's just
Sure.
take your time with an idea and be really like, it's okay to try new things. You can always go back to what you do. And I've always had that approach with rewriting, but I've always thought with rewriting as more of like a bit of arrangement and more focused on lyrics and melodic structure. But knowing that I can also do that with the key of the song, the tempo of the song, and then also add those elements of arranging into it and add those elements of melodic and lyrical structure. I've learned that for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
It's always interesting though. You never know what's going to stick with you until you apply it on your next project or your next thing, and you're like, it did go in. I learned a thing. Yay.